Hi friends, it's Amber and I'm back with another fall video for you. So you probably would have seen on my Instagram I created this cute little ephemera holder, but I wanted to make something a little bit more substantial with this idea. So this is the cute little pocket I made on Instagram. So we're gonna make a really cute booklet with 2 of these. It's gonna go super quick. You can mass produce these for your craft fairs or gifts or happy mail for your friends. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you the paper that you're gonna need, and this could not be easier. So the paper you'll need are 2 pieces that measure 8.5 by 12. These are for the ephemera holders. And then you need a piece which is gonna be the base of the album that measures 6.25 by 12. And then you need a little piece that measures 2 by 6. Here, the one that measures 6.25 by 12 is first. So the first score mark you'll make on this one is at 1/2 inch. So 1/2, and then we're gonna go to 5.5, and then at 6 and 6.5, and then go all the way down and score at 11.5. So we scored at 1/2, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and 11.5. So stick that aside, and then with this cute little 2 inch by 6 inch piece, you are going to score at 1/2, 1, and 1.5 score lines. So I want this cute part to be the outside of my book and this to be the inside. So I'm gonna be folding these in. These little 1/2 inch folds on either end are gonna give this booklet a little more of a finished look with that folded edge. So that's what that's for. So we're just gonna fold that in, and then find the 6 inch in the middle and just fold it in half. So it looks like that so far. So what you're gonna do now is find that 6 inch middle score line and kind of pinch it like this, where it's gonna form a peak with those 2 other score lines on either end. So now what you have is your 1/2 inch folded over, and then here's that 5.5 inch. Here's the 6 inch that makes the peak, so you can see like that. And then here is the 6.5 inch, and then you've got your other 1/2 inch piece over here. So again, we're gonna squeeze that 6 inch one to make a peak, and then on the other side of the paper, it'll be a valley, if you can see. So here's another shot. So here's the inside of the book, and it makes a peak. Before we fold our other little piece, I'm just gonna take my Scor Tape, and I'll link this below, it's my favorite adhesive, and go on these 1/2 inch flaps and just get this to the very edge so we can close those up, and it'll make a nice finished book, like I mentioned. And then the most satisfying part is to fold these over, and it gives it a nice decorative finished edge. Okay, so we're gonna do more with this in a second, but let's set this aside for now. And then take your little piece that is the 6 by 2 piece. So you're gonna find the middle of this, and there's that second 1/2 inch score line there, so you're just gonna fold this like that, and you're gonna make a peak again. And now you have just this little peak pointing up. You're gonna take the first 1/2 inch score line and fold it over. And then the peak is gonna meet it. So kind of like an accordion fold. And then that last score line, just fold in. So now you have this little kind of cute little accordion fold. And I'll show you what it looks like. Just like this. So as you can guess, we have our peak here and our valley here. We're gonna be placing that right there, sandwich in the middle, and these 2 flaps here are gonna hold our folders. So since I already made one here, I'm just gonna choose one of those pages that I cut and make the second ephemera holder. So to do that, all you're gonna do is, here's the part that I want showing the most. So what you need to do is flip it over like this. So the inside is showing and the top is down here. Then take this edge and fold it up to where you leave just approximately at 1.25 inch left over here. Now you're gonna turn your paper to where the 2 little points are facing the top. So this part you just eyeball, and you're gonna fold this in just like that. And just kind of fold that down with your bone folder. And you can already see some of our pockets forming here. And then this little point right here, you're just gonna fold over a little bit because that just gets it out of the way. So then over here, you're gonna fold this over, and the way that you know where to fold this is you're gonna line it up at the bottom and make sure that this tip hits the edge here. So we're gonna line this up at the bottom, and then this little tip right here will reach the edge. So this has a lot of layers of paper, so you might need help with your bone folder. So now we have, I'm so sorry about the noise in the background. My husband's watching TV. So here's our little folder, and we're gonna clean up the top here, but I wanna bring in this one and kind of make sure that they're the same height, because we're eyeballing so many folds here that sometimes these aren't exact every time. So I'm just gonna make sure we cut this the same height as this one. So it's right about there, so I'm just gonna make a little score mark right there. And that's where I'm gonna make my cut. So I'm gonna find the score mark, and that's where I'll make my cut. So they end up measuring approximately 6 by 4.5. Okay, so now that we have this all folded, I've got to glue this down. So I just unfolded the flaps, and I'm going to take some adhesive right along that bottom edge of the right one and of the left one. So I'm only going to where that folded edge is, not beyond it. So I'm using the strong adhesive. Even though this is a pocket, I'm using dry adhesive. You can add some wet adhesive on top, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like this, and I think it'll be okay. So I want a strong adhesive since we have so many layers of paper. So I'm just gonna put that down and then close that one. So now we have this all closed up, and the last thing we need to do is adhere this little part right here, because this piece is gonna form a little pocket right there. So I'm just gonna grab my wet adhesive and run it right along where that edge will meet, right there. So as you can see, we have 1 pocket, 2 pockets, 3 pockets, and then this is a 4th pocket right here, this little one. So I'm gonna, before I put goodies in here, I wanna show you how we're gonna put this in the book. So I'm actually gonna take all of these journaling cards out that I filled this one with. And I even made a little booklet, and I'll show you how I did that. But I'm gonna stick all these aside, and now we just have our empty folders. So we're just gonna bring in the piece that we folded up. This is that 2 by 6 piece. And this is gonna be where the peak is facing up. And so these 2 flaps here are where we are going to adhere our folders. So this is super easy. So this is like the right way up. So here's the left edge. So you're gonna turn it, and this is gonna be the edge that we put the adhesive on. So I'm gonna get this all the way to the edge. And I'm using very strong tape. Again, it's the Scor Tape. And what I'm gonna do is, this is a 1/4 inch, so I'm gonna undo the backing, and then I'm gonna put another piece that's slightly overlapping that piece, so I make sure I don't go over the 1/2 inch, because that little flap right there is 1/2 inch. So I'm slightly overlapping this, so it's a little shy of 1/2 inch of adhesive on this edge. Okay, so now this is super sticky. We've got 1/2 inch worth of adhesive there, and I'm gonna bring my little hinge piece here and place this right on that right flap, just at that fold. You don't want to go over it because you need it to still be flexible. So I just eyeballed that, and I'm gonna set it down and burnish it on there. So now we have this flap adhered to the back of our folder. So we're gonna do the exact same thing over here, and then this is gonna make our hinge with the peak up. now grab your base piece that we already made right here. And because we have a peak here and a peak here, here is the valley. So that's gonna go right over the peak just like this. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna add adhesive to this, I'm gonna add it to this. So where that peak meets, you've got the 2 1/2-inch gussets on either side. So I am gonna take Scor Tape with this, and it's a little risky to use Scor Tape because once you set it down, it's down and you can't really rip it up. So I need to be very careful, but I am gonna use some wet glue over it to give me a little more time, and I'll show you what I mean. So here is the Scor Tape. I'm taking it right to that folded edge on both sides. I hope that you can see what I'm doing. So again, here's the peak, and then on either side of that peak, I put adhesive. So I'm just gonna burnish that down and undo the backing on these. And for this, because I want a little time to make it straight, I'm gonna add just a little tiny bit of wet glue. And I mean a little bit because you don't want this to warp. Just a little tiny bead on either side. Okay, so now we have our peak here, all sticky and full of adhesive, and I'm gonna bring our 2 folders over, and I'm gonna make sure that I center this perfectly. And once you think it looks good, you've got the peak, you've got the valley right over the peak. Set it down and then squeeze the middle right here. See what I'm doing? I'm just squeezing that middle, and I'm adhering that really, really well. So here's the cover. We have our nice finished edge. Here's the inside cover, and we have our first ephemera folder right here, and then here's our second one, and then you flip that over, and here's the inside cover. Now you can add more pockets to the back of these if you want, pockets to this, but because we have this nice 1/2-inch gusset right here, there's a lot of room to build on this. Now we just have to decorate this and fill it up with goodies because we have all these pockets. Okay, so you saw me take all these cute little journal cards out of the pocket for this one. So I made this little fold out, and it's just fun for pictures or journaling or something. And so I'm just gonna show you how I made it. I didn't cut it exactly the same. I basically just took a scrap of paper and I folded this part in like that, and then I folded this part in like this. So it kind of closes unevenly, and I think it looks so cute. It's like a little booklet. So I just hope that this is gonna be, so I just hope this won't be too wide for our pocket. Let me just test it out here. So it fits pretty good in that first pocket. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it in that first back pocket. And then I'll stick this one over here and this one. I put those 2 pieces in each of those back pockets. So before I move on, I wanna figure out how I wanna decorate my cover, because I'm not a fan really of the beehive situation, but I really, really love that piece. Love how that turned out. It's so simple and vintage, but it still has some fall accents on it. Okay, so there's the cover. So I'm just gonna fill my pockets now with the goodies. here's my completed ephemera booklet. I don't really know exactly what I'm calling it yet. As you saw, I added this beautiful crinkle dyed seam binding for the closure. So I'm just gonna slip that off. And we kept the cover really simple with just that journaling card and the vintage book paper. I think that looks so pretty. So I left this kind of open and exposed so there's no problem adding more goodies in there. And here is, when you open it, here's the front cover, and you can add pockets or anything over here. I haven't added anything yet, but I did add a cute little accent of the vintage book paper here again, and then I made a pocket out of this beautiful fall scene with the mountains and the trees, and then I just stuck a cute little tag in there with some seam binding at the top. And then here is the middle and spread of our book. So here we have these 2 ephemera folders with 4 pockets each, and I stuck a bunch of goodies in there. So this one is the one I made on Instagram, so we already had one made. And then, of course, I made those little booklets that I showed you, and they're in that back pocket. So over here, same thing. I just put some journaling cards in there, and then I put a bookmark in this pocket, and then in that back pocket, I stuck that cute little booklet that I made right there. So I'm not going to take everything completely out, but there are so many cute little pockets. There's even another little one right here. You could stick like a mini tag in there, like this. So cute. So that is the middle of my booklet, and then here's the back. You can add another pocket or something cute there. We have our nice finished edge, of course, and here's the back. So I love how this turned out. It was so fun to make and so simple, and I hope that you will go and look at your paper in a different way and make some fun folders, and I hope that you enjoyed this project. Thank you so much for watching. I love making fall stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!